Hey everyone, part 2 of the modified engine build series. This time I'll be going across to BCR Performance, where Ben will show us the entire process that he goes through when he strips down a CB500 engine. It's quite a lot to get through in this video. We cover a lot of detail, so I'll jump straight into it. I'm over at BCR Performance today for part 2 of the engine build, so we've got it there on the stand ready to go. And I'm with Ben, who runs BCR Performance. So Ben, just explain a little bit about what you do at BCR, please.
Yeah, so BCR Performance, I set up BCR in 2015.
Yeah.
We primarily do a lot of CB500s, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But the way the class and everything's going now, it seems to be that I'm doing a lot more motorcar stuff. So in here, I can do anything from rebores, valve seats, aluminium welding, cylinder head porting, valve seat replacements. Yeah, the possibilities are endless, really. Yeah. There's not much that I can't do in here. So it's just a general motorcycle engineers who do a lot of engine rebuilds, engine tuning, and most of the stuff that we do is in-house. That's kind of like the way I've set everything up. Over the years, I've kind of built all the kit that I needed to be able to do everything. Also do lots of case repairs. So like you've got like a motocross case, for example, smash the bits, can't buy new ones because they're old. We can repair them, machine them, and then everybody last to finish.
Yeah, good as new, yeah. So you've done absolutely loads of these over the years, and you've done ones for standard race engines, refreshing them, all the way through to modified and tuned ones, depending on obviously what everyone asks for, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, I mean, from 15 to now, I've probably built touching nearly 400 CB500 engines, I'd probably say realistically.
Yeah, so you know your way around them then.
Yeah, so it's a lot of engines. What we're going to do today is basically base it on what's on the website, which is the stage 2, which is a 60 brake horsepower build.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that consists of stripping the whole engine down. We'll do a deck skim, a head skim, cut all the valve seats, put some high lift cams in it, do a lot of port work, and then obviously the flywheel as well. But while we're there, we'll have a look around and show everybody how the process on stripping it down and what we're looking for.
So first thing then, we're going to start obviously stripping it all down. So what I'll be doing is I'll be filming as Ben takes it apart. And I'll try and obviously show all the bits that come off and explain it as we go. So if you're like me that's new to all of this, hopefully you might actually learn how it's done.
Yeah, so normally we would start with either a compression test or a leak down test. But as we're doing a full overhaul of this engine,
not really worth it,
we're going to reset the valve seats. So yeah, let's start off by taking off the rocker cover. So we'll strip it from the top down. So what we need to do here, right, we're going to take the cams out.
Yeah.
Normally what we would do is if the valve timing is on like a certain stroke, we would need to bring it round. So have a look here. The timing marks on the CBs, if you look at the 0 there and the 0 on the back, then that would then indicate you take this off and it would have a little 0, the same sort of 0 there as well.
And you're lining it all up.
You line it all up, and then basically what that is, on the CBs, normally on an engine you would set it up on cylinder 1, top dead center, right? So that means the piston is at top dead center, and then these valves would all be closed, and then you would then time it up based on that. But with this, because it's a twin with the CBs, you can do it so all of the valves are closed, so there's no stress on any of the valves to make it difficult. So thankfully we're already on, so we haven't got to rotate anything. Once we're happy where that is, we then remove the cam chain tension, which is on the back.
So the cam chain on this definitely needs looking at, doesn't it? Because we could hear it slapping about in the original video.
So obviously we remove the cam chain tensioner. Now we can take out the cams. So just a little tap with a soft mallet on the back here. There's 2 dials on the back here on all of them. Just get a little tap, little knock.
Lift out,
and they should be able to, once you like break that, they'll just come out nice and easy. And obviously because you're using a plastic mallet, there's absolutely no damage at all on the back of them. Okay, so cam caps are out.
Yeah.
So you would take your inlet cam off first. You don't have to, you can take the exhaust, but it's easy to take the inlet cam out. Just lift it up.
Roll chain off,
Chain off. Slide straight out. We can let that cam chain drop. If you're doing a cylinder head replacement, for example, don't let the cam chain drop. It's not ideal because sometimes they can get stuck at the bottom. 2 10mm bolts at the front and the back.
So what are those then? Just the main bolts there?
These are your main bolts that keep the cylinder head on.
Yeah.
So you remove the 2 small ones first, and then remove all of these. On this side and this side, you've got 2 dowels. So easiest way to remove it is, again, put your mallet, give it a good.
Yep.
That come off quite easy.
I was gonna say it comes apart reasonably.
It's very easy, that one.
Yeah.
They're not normally like that.
So what's like that wire's condition then, would you say?
What you'd expect. Sometimes you will get them in the very wet, so you'll have like really wet valves.
Lots of build-up.
Lots of build-up of carbon. Yeah, that's the carbon build-up is kind of that's normal. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes you would have oil, like wet valves, and that's because the valve stem seals.
So that's a bad thing.
So that's a bad thing. But up to now, doesn't look too bad at all, to be fair.
So I'm guessing you'll have seen bloody loads of conditions, some good, some bad, and I'm guessing it's pretty obvious the ones that are knackered.
Yeah, I've got some over there that are being rebored that I could probably show you, which are basically destroyed. What I'm going to do, I'm going to remove this side first, get this off, and then that then allows me to be able to rotate the engine, and then I can have a proper look then. But we're going to measure, we're going to actually do the measuring of this cylinder, both cylinders. So I'll just take all these off. Probably find you won't be able to get this off by hand. Again, little tap, because it's got the flywheel in. Sometimes they can be really difficult. Try and just break it. There we go.
It's all alright, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too
Actually
bad.
Pretty,
very clean?
Yeah, pretty clean, isn't it?
It's very clean. How many miles has this done?
30,000.
Yeah, it's not too bad. We're able to rotate the engine. Nice and free. Quick visual inspection of the cylinders. I've already been doing that as I've been going.
Yeah. Like I say, just explain what you're looking for then.
Any rust, any breaking away, because these are a cast iron liner, so sometimes you'll see that the casting is breaking away. If you look on this side here, from this side, you've got something there.
Oh yeah.
It's possible, I think it may be rust, but I can't really see it. So we'll have to have a look at that. There is some rust on there, but a nice hone may be able to get that out.
So if it's excessive, then it's knackered, I'm assuming.
Yeah, or it needs a rebore, but we can have a look at that and sort it out. Yeah, cool. Now, we'll take the starter motor off now.
Yeah. That just slots in anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just a piece that runs in. Starter gear that connects the starter motor to the drive to start the engine. Just this gear on the back.
So we're just taking the water pump off now,
water pump off now, yeah. Sometimes these bolts get seized and it can be a nightmare to go they snap. So when you just undo them in a little twist, you've got to have a rubber seal that just sits in there to keep it in.
So we'll be replacing all the seals and everything.
Everything,
anyway,
all the seals, all the gaskets, yeah, pretty much everything. Obviously with the water pump, we're going to take it apart and give it a service, give it a clean.
Yeah.
There's a new seal in there. Everything that we're going to do to the engine is obviously done in-house, so all the machining side of things, the head skimming, the deck skim, the valve seat cutting, it's all going to be done in here. There's dials up here that, just give it a wiggle, off we go. Yeah, so I'll take the clutch out, take the oil pump out and inspect the oil pump. These gears here, you can leave them in when you split the cases, they're not an issue. Let's take two out, and then I'll just look.
Yeah, it's a lot of suspension.
Yeah, don't take them out at once, because if you do that, what you'll do is you'll snap those lugs. Yeah. You don't want to do that. We are basically stripping this down. What we're going to do once it's all stripped is then go through everything and inspect all of the components. We're going to measure everything. Get the micrometers out, the bore gauges, and measure the engine properly. They have a lip here, so that once you do it, once you put it back on, you tap the lip into the slot in there, so it helps come off. And to be honest, I don't need to take it out. It'll literally just pull. Yep. There we go.
So we'll obviously check over clutch plates, see if they need replacing.
Yeah, I mean, you can flip it upside down, lift it up. And then once you've lifted it up, you push that bit through, out. So what you tend to find on CBs, 90% of the time, is that The two outer ones
are the
burnt.
damaged ones, yeah.
And the inners are okay.
So am I likely to need to replace the two outer ones anyway?
Yeah, you're going to need to replace those two outer ones, yes. Your inner friction plates are okay. Steels, I'd replace, personally. Yeah. They're not horrendous, don't get me wrong. You're looking for different colouring, so some of them, see there, that's got hot there. I'll have some somewhere where they're completely black. That is a fried clutch.
Yeah.
And
plate wise, yeah.
Fried. Yeah. Now what happened with this one is, if you look, it's like left some bits. It got that hot, the friction material broke away. Once it had broke away, you see all the stuff on the edge there, right? Broke away, blocked the oil pump, blew the engine up. With motocross racing, they're on the clutch constantly, so they're going into corners, coming out of corners, they're on the clutch, nailing it. You know, they do hammer clutches. So next, we're going to remove the oil pump chain. Yeah. The way the oil pump is driven is obviously on your clutch basket. You have two little notches. Nice, those notches go into there. So if you're ever doing a clutch and you're putting it in and you feel like you can't get the nut on all the way, just rotate that there and it'll slot in. Yeah, and then obviously on these, you'll know because that lines up with that. If this is further out, you've got an issue. Little trick, what you can do with this is, I know there'll be some people who do their own work on bikes, or they have a go, and sometimes they'll jam a screwdriver or something in the gears or in there. 2p piece, nice and soft, put it in. Done. Just to hold it in place. Yeah. Damages the coin. Yeah. Doesn't damage any of the gears or anything like that in there. I mean, this oil pump chain will change anyway. You got your oil pump here. We'll take that out. Give it a good wiggle up and down because it's on two dials at the top. When we strip the engine half, got to undo these two because it keeps that bearing in, and if you leave that tight with that bearing pushed in, it makes it difficult splitting the cases. Right. So they're always Loctited in. So we just back them off a little bit, just so that can move and float. The next step is to remove this shaft. This basically is what connects your gear lever to the gearbox. But first we need to give it a bit of a clean. Yeah, what you find a lot of the time is there's a lot of grit and dirt on here that builds up. When you try and pull it out this side, it won't come through, it gets stuck. That's still quite tight, but it should come. Just giving it. Work it through. Yeah, just keep twisting it, there we go. I see what you're saying, yeah. If it's cleaned properly, it'll go straight through. These get bent quite easy. We're almost ready to take out, to split the crankcases. First of all, we'll just do the flywheel straight off, and then we get an M20 by 1.5 mil, screw it in. Now that forces it straight off. Okay, so let's remove the bolts for the crankcases on these. The are sealed down the centre here, whereas on a lot of most stuff half, that way. So so we'll remove the crankcase bolts. So we'll start with the little ones. Flip it over. I've got to take the bottom ones out now as well. So take all the sump bolts out. There's a little lug here. There we go, first go. It's only been on 20-something years. Yeah, to be fair, that come off quite well. Now, obviously, when you take your sump off, this is the first sign where you can see if you've had quite any major wear. Sometimes, if you have a big end issue, you'll find a lot of copper filings in the bottom of the motor. If the engine's been rebuilt in the past, another things that I find is a ton of silicone in the bottom. If you have a lot of sealant in this and it's excessive, and it just drips back in, goes into the motor, fill this. If this blocks up here, right, that's your oil pickup. So as the oil pump is rotating, it sucks all the oil through here and it feeds the engine. If you've got a lot of loose RTV, right, which is horrible stuff, it'll block that up, which will then obviously block all of the oil ways, and you'll have no oil, engine fails. This engine hasn't been that bad, to be honest. No, that's good.
So everything looks okay in that then, in the pump?
Yeah, up to now. That's your pressure relief valve. So if you have too much oil pressure, that'll blow by. All these seals, see these seals?
Yeah,
they all get replaced, yeah. Okay, so that's it, that's all of them. Now again, let's remove all of the next lot of bolts. So we've got 4 on the front. Just remove all of the...
Yeah, I need to put it on light, I think.
Right, so that's all the bolts at the bottom taken out. Flip the engine back over. We're now ready to split the cases. Right, so we've got it on the bench now. We've already took that 14mm bolt out.
Yep.
Flipped it over, as you can see, just rest the back piece on a piece of wood. Reason being is you've got your guides, your cam chain guides, you don't want to bend them. So you keep them out the way, and then the case will literally just lift off. Sometimes it's a lot harder than that. Lay it down. We have the bottom half of a CB. Got your balance shaft, crankshaft, gearbox.
A chain tensioner.
Yeah, that's your back one. That's the one that goes on the chain tensioner side.
They look all alright, do they? Not worn or anything?
There's a bit of wear on that one there, but that's expected on a CB. You see it all the time. Take the gearbox out. We'll have a proper look at this in a second.
Yeah.
This one can be nice. That's come on quite easy, that one. Take all the dials out. There's a tiny little dial here.
All right, yeah.
You've got these oil jets.
I didn't even see them.
Yeah. We'll take the rods out and the crank in a second. But here, these are your main bearing shells.
And they're the bits that are likely
these are what you
need to replace.
Yeah, you change pretty much on most motors. As you can see, they're worn in places.
Definitely need to be.
Yeah, so you would change these ones, but we'll show how to measure these up, how to choose the correct ones. Just taking off the bottom caps. You don't want to mix these up. You do not want to put that one on that one.
Yeah.
So that goes just to the left. Just do it, bring it round. So when you're doing this, you also want to be very careful that the thread doesn't scratch the journal.
Yeah.
These rod nuts, well, yeah, they're your nuts. Obviously, they're your rod bolts. Never ever reuse them. They're a stretch bolt. They are literally buttons. Once you've used them once, that's it. They need to be replaced. There you go. Take the cam chain off. The stretch cam chain.
When I was getting that cam chain slapping around sound, is it just loose? Is it just
that'll be
over
stretched.
time? Yeah.
That'll be stretched. We'll be able to do measurements when we get the new one.
Yeah.
You could probably put them next to each other
and see what the difference is.
Yeah, see what the difference is.
Okay.
So you just put that back on so you know where it is. When you're putting these back on, you do have to be aware of the number or the way they go around.
Yeah.
They do go a specific way. Normally you would know by the number that is printed across the face, which I've got on here to show you, like that. So you'd know. If you don't have that, which obviously on these ones you don't, then how you would know is with the retainer clip. So that little notch, that notch, and that notch, they both need to be on the same side. That's it, on the same side. So if you have a little look here, you can see your balance shaft bearings. These are always need changing, the balance shaft ones. With the mains, you get different sizes, so you get different thicknesses to take up the slack, to give you that, to give you the correct oil pressure. With the balance shaft bearings, you only get one colour, which is a yellow colour. It's like a yellow, very fade yellow on the bottom. All shells are coloured. They all have to.
Make sure you get the right ones.
Yeah, to make sure you have the right ones. Give them a clean. They're all your top shells now as well.
So again, we're just looking for any wear marks.
Anywhere on them, yeah. They're not, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not horrendous.
Yeah.
You probably would not have issues with them in your road bike for a long time.
Yeah. But with it being race,
what we're doing to it, we're just going to put new ones in to make sure it's nice and fresh. Next step is to remove the pistons. All right, the way I do this, turn it on its side. that, push it up to the top, and then I rock it left to right, just like that, and it'll literally just feed out.
Nice and easy.
Not bad. Not bad at all, to be honest.
On the other side, I noticed a bit of like slight scoring there. Is that just?
Literally, like, that's not that bad at all.
No.
They're actually in really good condition compared to, you know, you think it's done 30,000. Yeah. They're not bad at all. That's also not too bad at all.
Good. Is that just so you can identify?
It's just so you can identify what's one, what's two. That's literally all it's for. So that.
Pretty much done.
It's pretty much almost done. Yeah. We do have to take the gearbox out of this side. But I just want to have a little bit of a better look. Now you can see to the bottom. Not horrendous. I'd say that is literally what you would expect to see with a CB, the way they are. Minus obviously that little
bit of richness.
Yeah, a little bit of either rust or, to come away, you can see it. You may have heard about the detent spring. There is an upgrade that you can do on these, which is this piece, this spring here behind there. Now basically what it does is when you have your shaft that runs through and you change gear, when you change gear, this drum here, it rotates that. Yeah. And if you have a look, when I rotate it, it moves. So that little half moon part, that's neutral. Then you go to 1, then you go up to 2, for example. Yeah. Which then obviously moves.
Inside there, yeah.
On the selector forks, you've got these like dial pieces. Yeah. They fit into there. So as you rotate it, it slides the forks along the shaft, which then obviously moves the gears. All of that spring does is it just puts more pressure onto the detent star.
And that's to stop it dropping out,
and that just stops them dropping out. Yeah, so that's it. Look how easy it is to move. The more pressure you've got on that, the more it'll stay in position. They do help, but most of the time when you're having gearbox issues on the CBs, it's down to having worn teeth. Yeah. Worn dogs, sorry, which is these pieces here. They all interlock in. And then what happens is over time, as you're hammering the gearboxes, if you don't get a positive shift, you'll only push it over to a little bit and then it goes and then slides. So it's in gear now, then basically it'll come out and that's what the false neutrals are.
So do you find that those gear shaft support things help then?
The gear shaft support, as in what, on the other side, on the opposite side, yeah, they definitely do work because it takes out that slack. It removes the bending and allows a more positive shift from the shaft that runs through the actuator shaft. So yeah, they definitely do work. Combined with the
other bits you do
stiffer detent spring, it does help definitely. Let's take that shaft out. When you're looking at your selector forks, what you're looking for is where on the two faces here and here, all of them, basically, selector fork runs in your groove. When you select your gear, this groove here moves the selector fork, that dial there. So it moves over, so it'll move it over, which then obviously moves the gear.
Moves it across, yeah.
Which then interlocks into a different gear. That is pretty much a CB, completely stripped and ready to be measured and assessed.
So if you're interested in seeing how we take the engine apart and how we modify it, subscribe to the channel and then you'll be able to follow along with all the videos. Next time, I'll show the process we go through to strip down the cylinder head. I'll also show a lot of the progress that I've been making on the bike so far. So if you have any questions about the build or the process we've gone through so far, drop us a comment and we'll get back to you. So hopefully, see you next time. Thanks for watching.